Welcome to Pour Over Stories, the podcast where two coffee-loving, faith-filled hosts brew up real conversations about life, faith, and everything in between. We're here to share laughs, life lessons, and a whole lot of coffee as we dive into meaningful discussions on the joys, struggles, and surprises that come with walking through life with the Lord.
Whether you're sipping your morning cup or unwinding at the end of the day, we promise you'll find both humor and inspiration in every episode. So grab your favorite mug, sit back, and join us as we laugh, learn, and grow together. We're excited to share the journey with you.
Hello, welcome to Pour Over Stories. I'm Rochelle.
I'm Lily.
And welcome to episode 4, where we are talking about social media traps.
Social media. Okay, first of all, I don't know about you, but I didn't grow up with social media. I didn't even have a cell phone growing up.
Right.
So I feel like we're a unique generation. So I definitely didn't get a cell phone, and it didn't even have internet till when I was a senior in high school. So social media definitely came later.
Yeah.
With MySpace. Did you have a MySpace?
I tried to, but I wasn't allowed to, so
Okay.
my attempt didn't last. So, but yeah, I remember 8th grade, I want to say, MySpace was a thing.
Yep.
And prior to that was like AOL chat.
Oh, yes.
Or AIM.
Yes.
Yeah, AIM
I did that.
chat.
Yes.
And then Facebook, I remember hearing about it on the news. It was like for college students. And college students sounded like 50-year-olds at the time. And it's like, oh, these are for like
The older folks.
older, educated, people of Oxford, not like for the average person or grandma being on there all day,
Right.
And then I remember hearing about Twitter on the news.
Oh,
But that was like for politicians, where they gave little updates, not for like the common folk, So I remember getting a Facebook account, I think the summer of junior year.
So you were older.
Yeah.
So.
And then Instagram around there.
Yeah.
That was around senior year, so 2010. Yeah, and then all of the stuff like Snapchat, it just kept coming.
That's true. I can
Facebook.
keep up.
Instagram, Snapchat. What else was there? Pinterest. That will always be a staple. So for now, it's gonna touch that with a 10 for solvers. No, that's on the Lord.
I don't think it's in the Bible, but
What else? There's Messenger.
yeah, Facebook.
Missing Twitter. I never got into Twitter. Did you have Twitter or X now?
I've never even heard of that.
What?
X?
Yeah. Where have you been?
I'm telling you, I don't have time for this.
So correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but Elon Musk, I believe, bought Twitter and he changed it to X.
Oh my God.
I think it's part of his brand, like SpaceX, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm
sure there's
like I'm missing
plenty.
something.
Yeah.
Google Circles.
Does what's the one? I don't have it, but you can see like reels and stuff.
Oh, TikTok?
Yes.
That was
See,
big.
I don't know what.
Yeah. I tried to dabble in it, but I was like, this is hard.
Yeah.
Ramming like
No.
content into 60
Anxieties.
How do people do that? And you watch it and it's like they're like cooking a 3-course meal. And you're like, how was that 60 seconds? Too much.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I'll ever, which I'm grateful that I didn't grow up with social media, because now I see how kids can struggle with it, and just the comparison traps of, comparing yourself to your friends. And even as an adult now, I could find myself comparing my life with others, especially maybe people my age. And I'm like, whoa, my life is not like that, or I'm not there yet, or it could be, or you see people taking vacations and stuff. You're like, oh, I wish I was in Hawaii, and then you start feeling down or bummed, or so definitely I'm grateful I didn't have that struggle as a kid. Yeah. I mean, there was already enough struggles as a kid. And now imagine having social media. Um, but I only have Facebook and Instagram, but I don't post much. I have learned recently how to do stories on Instagram, but I can't remember the last time I posted actually a post, you know? So um I yeah, I just don't, it takes too much time. I overthink it and I'm like, what do I say? You know, I'm like, I want to share this picture, but I don't know what comment to do. And then I start overthinking and I'm like, forget it. I'm not going to post this thing after all. But what do you have?
Well, I had Facebook, I had Instagram, and I had Snapchat. Um,
Ooh, you were a Snapchatter.
I still have Pinterest, which is not really a social media. It's more of like a it's more of a like a search engine, kind of like YouTube. I
Yeah.
would say
Yeah.
it's more content.
That's true.
It's you're not directly comparing yourself to somebody else.
Right.
I just think of it as like a digital magazine. So I got rid of Facebook.
Mm.
One, I got rid of
Wait, twice, right?
Instagram. I was getting uh deactivated too many times from Facebook corporate.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding. So they deactivated my channel. I got canceled. So no, I'm joking. Um, no, I got rid of Facebook because in the beginning, when it was brand new,
Mm-hmm.
um, and just being a young person, I was a teenager. You don't Your frontal lobe isn't developed yet until you're 25,
Right.
and you just don't have wisdom yet or discernment. And then parents,
That's true.
it's new to them too, so they don't really understand,
Right.
not to tell. So I was putting like my relationship status on there. I was sharing everything,
Yeah.
just because you kind of feel like you're in a safe spot and you're just putting everything out there. And I was just like oversharing, you put
Yes.
every picture instead of like highlights. I was like,
Yes.
my albums were like had 200 pictures in it. Like, who's
Yeah.
looking at that? Um, but and kind of same thing with Instagram too. You're like, okay, what do I say that's like trendy? What do I say that's clever? That's get a lot. Yeah, how many shots should I put in here?
Yeah.
And so as years go on, and I was getting, I think it was the year before I got married. It was starting to come to a point to like almost like clutter. It was becoming mentally cluttering, and it was time sucker. It was kind of stealing my joy. And I was posting not for my benefit, but I feel like I was posting for other people's benefits.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
especially like in my single days, if I could get a couple guys to like my pictures or whatever, I was doing it for the likes, not because like, oh, I wanted to share a picture today of me running. It's like, I want them to check me out. You want to be noticed? Give them something to double tap, like, or like, wow, this post got 85 likes, or this got 100 likes, just doing it for the applause,
Right.
not because I was really into the thing, And also too, social media is such a false representation of who you actually are. People aren't going to post, the worst pictures of themselves.
Their bad days.
Their bad days, or their average days, or their mediocre days. It's a facade, and it's not real.
Right.
And it's just time consuming, and then
Yeah.
trying to keep up with all the trends.
Oh my gosh.
And like in the beginning, Instagram, like, does anyone remember the filter Kelvin? It was like the orange filter and all those weird filters. But it was like the average Joe. It was like taking a picture of their like hamburger. And now it's like the average Joe looks like they work for National Geographic. Like the quality of the picture, it's like, whoa. And so and then on Instagram, there were pages, like accounts, where every photo was just like perfect. The lighting and the color and everything looked like a professional photo. And it was the aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have like one picture where it was, you and your friends, you know,
Mhm.
at a sunset in this dark picture. And then the next is like a picture of the hike. Like every box was like saying filter, saying you can a preset filter, you can even buy those. So that was kind of hard. It was a lot of pressure because when I was trying to start up my own blog, like side business, I was like, I'm not the best photographer, and some pictures are really good, and then some aren't, and that was a lot of pressure.
Oh my gosh.
It's a lot of work, and then just comparing myself to others, good and bad.
Right.
So I'd compare myself, thinking, "Oh, I've got my life together so much better than this person," or "Why can't I be like this person?"
Right.
And they have all this together, or they look like this, you know. And that's just, and then also too, another layer is just privacy. You know,
Oh, that's true.
it's like you're opening up yourself, even if you have a private, account, you still have,
Yeah.
nobody has like 10 people on their account. People have hundreds of people.
Yeah.
And just kind of knowing like, who am I entrusting my information with? So that person that I accepted, who I had a class in college with, do they really need to know that I'm going on a date, that, I got accepted into this program, that I'm working at this place, that I hang out at this beach? Like, they're not
Yeah.
in my direct circle. Would I tell them that to their face? Like, hey, didn't we have a class together? Oh, by the way, I'm dating so-and-so,
Yeah.
or I'm starting to go to this church, or I'm whatever. And that felt weird. Like, I want to control my privacy.
Yeah.
And it was hard for me to get rid of Facebook initially and Instagram, because I felt like that was my connection to the outside world.
Interesting. Yeah.
For people who had moved away and were in different countries and different states, I'm like, how am I going to be in the know? How am I going to know what's going on?
Right.
And I had to tell myself, if they really mean something to me, they matter, I'm going to know,
Yeah.
because I'm going to keep tabs on them. I'm going to call them, I'm going to email them, text them. And I have friends that are in different countries and different states. And yeah, I don't know what they had for breakfast this morning, but like, I catch up with them and it's high level stuff. And it's not like, wait, what? That happened and I didn't know? Because I had FOMO, fear of missing out. Like, or what if I'm not invited to something because I'm not on Facebook anymore? But really, it hasn't impacted my life to where I'm like, oh man, I really wish I had social media. Like,
Yeah.
maybe one thing is the Facebook marketplace that I can't participate in, like to buy nothing. But like, honestly, like it hasn't, like, if people want to get in touch with me,
Right.
they've got my email, they've got my phone number, they see me in person,
Right.
and that's what matters.
Right.
So letting that go was like such a burden lift. And I'm not anti-social media at all. It has a lot of good, you know, but it also has a lot of bad. And that was just something into my life where it was just burdensome, stealing my joy, got me more on my phone. And it's something freeing to where I can just put my phone down and really
Yeah.
immerse myself in whatever I'm doing and not have to document it for the gram.
Perfect lighting. Everything's perfect.
Yeah, I can't. It's, and I'm a twin mom. There's no way, that I want to keep up with that. It's just,
It's a lot.
yeah. So, for my blog, if you guys want to check it out, I'm Mary Madden blog, but I realized that I can't keep up with someone who's been a professional blogger and they're on all the socials. It's like, I've got my blog and Pinterest and YouTube, and that's okay with me.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. I don't have to answer to anyone like, how come you're not on Facebook? How come you're not on Instagram? Like, less is more. And I feel like life is so much less complicated that I don't have to check a bunch of socials and stuff. And Instagram, and it's the scary thing is they want you to be there, because before, like years and years ago, like probably 10 plus years ago, if you wanted to deactivate or delete your account, that's a simple click of a button. But with Facebook, I don't know if you've tried it, Instagram, they basically walk you through steps like, are you sure?
Really?
Sure. Do you want to take a break? Do you want to take a hiatus? Do you want to temporarily deactivate it, where it's not just like unsubscribe?
Really?
Done. Yeah. And then with Facebook, they even try to guilt you. Like, they show you your friends list. Like, you're not going to be able to contact these people anymore.
Wow, I had no.
You're not going to have access to your messages, to your pictures. And for me, I was like, what about all my and it's like, again, I can't let that, which is so temporal, like, oh, that, what about those people who wrote happy birthday on my wall? It's like, the only makes sense that it was my birthday is because it popped up on their notifications. They don't care. And they're just, HBD. So it's been freeing, and it's just like hard to manage, like keeping up because in 2009 when I got Facebook, like, well, keeping up an account for 10 plus years, and it's like, oh, and then one last thing, I know I'm ranting here, but the memories that pop up.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So it's like, you know, do you want to really remember your ex-boyfriend, from, years ago, or something silly you did when you were in high school,
Yeah,
or something that you said and you're like cringe,
yeah,
like
yeah,
the old is gone.
yeah. So true. I've always been really good at just in general for any of my phone apps. I don't have the notifications on. I don't like to be constantly notified like this person liked your picture or you got an email. I don't like notifications. I already get enough. Yeah, I don't need all that. So I'm not constantly being bombarded with notifications, and I hide my because I have Facebook and Instagram, but I hide it in a folder in my phone, so I'm not constantly seeing it, and it's not something that I'm constantly aware, like, "Oh, I need to check my Instagram or my Facebook." And it's something I feel I think I keep my Facebook because I do keep in contact with certain people that live in my hometown or maybe people I went to college with or, um yeah, people that I really kinda stay in contact with, it's or family members, um, but I don't post anything, but it's kinda cool to kinda, you know, see what friends or family are up to. With Instagram, I feel like I definitely don't use it as much, maybe to see some stories, but I don't like that there's a lot of advertisement now,
Oh, yeah.
and I don't like that because when you
Speed up.
open it up, you're, like, seeing advertisements for whatever, and you're like, "Oh, this I don't wanna see this." But I
Influencer
Yes,
selling stuff.
exactly, but one thing I do kinda use Instagram for are the reels that maybe at the end of the day, I wanna look through some and, send it to friends. Sorry to those if I send you a bunch of reels, but it's just they're funny, you know? It's something just to laugh at, but I don't look through Instagram a lot. I One thing that I don't like about, social media is I don't I don't want people to, um, uh, expect me to, like, keep track of their life through social media. Like, I wanna still hang out with you, meet you face to face, and you tell me about your life. Yeah, you show me pictures of your kids or, whatever's happening. Don't expect me to keep track of your entire life because I won't. I won't keep track, and if I don't like your post of your dog or your food or it's like I'm just not constantly looking through it. So some people will come up to me like, "Oh, did you see I posted that last week?" I'm like, "I I didn't see that." Or if you're really like close to me and let's say you're pregnant, like I expect you to call me or text me, not for me to find out on social media. Yeah, because I don't do that, and I don't post a lot, and I will share with my closest people in person or through text message or a call. I think it's a privacy thing. I don't expect people to know my business or,
Yeah.
um, oh, maybe if I take trips, I'll post pictures, but I don't expect people to like, oh, I saw that you
Yeah.
went to Olive Garden last week or you, I don't,
That's what weirded me out because there were times where I would have someone come up to me and they would reference something that I posted,
right?
but they didn't like or comment. And that was kind of creepy to me because I didn't know that they saw it. Now, Brandon, I gave them permission to because they were on my friends list. But it was kind of weird that they were just kind of silent about it. But then in person, they're like, oh, by the way, I'm like, you were looking at that? At least, like, let me know that you were looking at it. Like, sorry, it's at least I see your name pop up. But I didn't like that. Like, oh, you
It is
know
a
about
little.
that? So it's like, yeah, but I did post it, so I guess I'm giving it fair game. But
But it does feel weird. It's just like, oh, I don't expect the whole world to know about my life. And especially now that I'm getting older, maybe that's why I'm posting less, is because I don't want people to know my business. Or if you really want to know, like, I'll let you know in person.
yeah,
Um, and maybe I'm a little old school. I love quality time with people, so I'm just going to tell you in person anyways.
right.
And it's special to me to share with you in person instead of you finding out. Again, maybe with trips, because I like to take trips, I'll post those kind of pictures because it's a unique and cool experience. And um, yeah, it's not, as private as other things in my life. So, but
Well, social media, there's more and more, um, data on what it's doing to our culture,
yeah,
and studies show that this is kind of the loneliest generation,
yeah, I love that.
from I think the age of 18 to 25,
Yeah,
because it's like everyone's connected, but nobody is.
right.
You've got 500 friends and you're completely lonely, and
Yeah,
everything is superficial. And your dopamine rush, when you see that, oh, that cute guy in my class liked it, but it's like, but he won't take you out on a date. That's not fulfilling. Not that dates is fulfilling with the cute guys cuss, but it's so superficial, and it's easy to write happy birthday because you got a notification.
yeah.
But to have it written down on your calendar and to remember, hey, that's my friend's birthday today. I want to make her feel special. Send her a message. And you're not doing it for the applause or, you know, where everything's public. Like if I write on your wall something silly, well, now everyone can see what we wrote and they can look and comment and like or have an opinion about things. And now with social media, like back in the day, it's like your information was from like news reporters
Yeah.
and professionals that wrote, you know, articles and stuff. But now everyone has a voice and a say and an opinion.
That's it. Yeah.
Good thing, bad thing.
I think that was, yeah, not a struggle, but I noticed that a lot during the pandemic of, when there's a lot going on in our world and people do have their opinions or they want to post. And I'm all for, like, you have the freedom of speech, freedom of, um, but it's been so sad to see how much division that has brought too, because then you're like, oh, well, this person is saying this, or this person believes in this, or this person voted for this person, and then now there's like fightings within families or yeah, and it's just so sad because it's like we're all, yeah, it's just I don't like seeing those arguments or those fights or
Right.
so that's one. During the pandemic I took a huge break from social media too because I'm like,
Can bring the worst out of you.
I like seeing that. It's so, gosh, people are like just hateful messaging or, you know, yeah, it was just even within family members, you see that and you're like, oh, why are we fighting about this? Or why are we arguing about this? And
It's that level of like invincibility where you're behind closed doors on your phone and you're not face to face with someone, as you can say whatever you want. And it's low key bullying, whether you know that person, whether you don't. And people don't have that discernment like, hey, this is a human being with feelings and we should be respectful because how come before your neighbor, you could have a solid, healthy relationship with your neighbor. You both help out each other, but they have a completely different worldview than you do, but yet you get along and
right.
you make it happen. But all of a sudden, it's like someone who doesn't believe the same as you,
Yep.
you cancel them, you block them, unfriend them.
Yeah.
you say nasty things, and that's not what the world needs.
Right.
And it's like there's going to be people that don't agree with you,
Yeah.
and that's okay.
Yeah.
We all, God created us all individually. We're not cookie cutters. And even if someone doesn't believe, let's say biblically, like let's say they don't believe the truth, God still loves them. And that doesn't change that they are in need of a savior and they need love and compassion. And being nasty to them isn't going to bring
Right.
Christ.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. We're called to be kind and love them the way, Jesus would love them. And sometimes I don't even say anything, or I'll just like, but still, I feel like social media could be a great tool.
Yes.
But I don't agree with letting kids or teenagers have it. I think, yeah, they're just not ready for that. Unless they're like, I don't know, their parents are guiding them through it. But yeah, technology is a great tool. It could be used in a great way, but also it could be used not in a healthy way. And but it starts with me. It starts with us. I can only check myself, and if social media is a stumbling block for me or an issue, then it's something I need to work on. But I can't be pointing my fingers at others like, you do your own,
Right.
even though I want to. But it's like, well, how can I, yeah. But it's not. I've stayed away from social media a couple of times for months or maybe a year. I can do it easily. It's not something I feel like I'm addicted to. Maybe some of the reels. There are times where maybe I'm watching too many reels, but it's not something. If I stay away from it for a long time, I'm not like missing it, and I'm not like eager to jump on. It's not a big deal to me. So,
Yeah.
but again, I'm grateful that I didn't grow up with it, so I'm not like I'm just yeah. It's not a big deal to me.
Yeah. And there's definitely a way to have a social media presence and to do it in a healthy,
Yeah.
productive manner to where you're not getting sucked into negative comments or trying to people please or meet a certain standard like, oh, this is the trend now, right? To post these, whatever.
It's too much.
Yeah. And I think it's just knowing yourself.
Yeah.
And for me, I just felt like, this is not sustainable anymore for me. And
Right.
I can gracefully bow out, and I didn't write a big thing on social media like, I'm leaving everyone. If you want to be in contact with me, this is how to do it. Because this is
My cell phone number? 6-1?
nobody cares. Everyone cares about me,
Yeah.
themselves, like what's going on in their life. So if they don't see me on Facebook or whatever, like
Yeah.
the world is still going,
Still turning.
it's still turning,
Yeah.
and sure, I'm sure there's things I've missed out on or whatever, but like
You're okay.
I'm okay. And I can't go to every single thing I'm invited to anyhow. So I think as long as you know yourself, because I'm not going to say like everyone who has social media is in the wrong. You
Right.
pick it up because it's a great tool.
Right.
There's great content on there. There's pastors. There's inspirational speakers, people that are speaking the truth, and there's light and positivity that need to be on social media
Right.
to balance all the darkness and stuff. So I think if you know yourself and your capabilities, or if you say, you know what, I really struggle when I'm, end of the day and the kids are all in bed. I get on Instagram and I'm just comparing myself to the mom.
Not hanging yourself. Yeah.
Or like how I go on Pinterest and I keep linking back to Amazon and I'm making all these purchases. Like if you just know how to, you know, you know, have it in a healthy context to where you're not addicted and you're not getting depressed or you're not relying on something to make you satisfied. I think it's totally fine to have it. So, but for me, it was kind of hard to not slip into those more negative tendencies.
Know your limits, know your boundaries, and yeah, it starts with you, us. So it's good. Again, we can continue talking about this forever. We should start a podcast
I like that idea.
because we like to talk.
And that's what we're doing.
And that's what we're doing. Well, I'll pray us out. And yeah, Jesus, thank you. Thank you for your grace. Thank you for your love. And thank you that we can rely on you. You give us wisdom and strength, and even to um, face our day each day. And we just thank you for this time, just to bring encouragement to one another. And yeah, we just thank you for coffee again and this podcast. And Lord, that it would just honor you and glorify you and bless everyone who listens and watches. And we love you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Well, thanks again for watching and staying with us. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yes.
And comment if you have any tips or things that you find interesting about what we talked about today.
Or things you want us to talk about.
Exactly. All right.
See ya.
See you later. Welcome to Pour Over Stories. I'm Rochelle.
I'm Lily.
And welcome to episode 3. Are we on episode 3?
Yep.
4. Sorry, 4. Okay, we do. Episode 4.